Hey guys, it's Vas back with another video, and today is the first of the month, which in the bookish community, we all know that that means that we have our monthly wrap up and then our monthly goals. And these are the books that I read this month. So in June, I actually read 3 books. And if you haven't seen it already, I do have a June TBR video up on my channel. I will have that link below. And that just kind of goes more in depth on like the synopsis and stuff like that of each of the books. I also have in-depth reviews of each individual book to where I go through the synopsis a little bit more. I go through the things I liked, I didn't like, my rating, and just my overall thoughts of each individual book. Okay, but let's just get into it real quick. So it's as if So the order that I decided to do my books for this month, for June, I had a very specific order that I wanted to read my books for June. And I don't know what possessed me to put them in this order, but that's kind of how I wanted it to be done. And it's like I knew what was going to happen, and it was as if I did it from worst to best. I didn't even try to do it that way. Like, I swear, that's just kind of how it happened. And I'm actually really happy that it worked out in that order because it made me more, it just got me excited to read the next books on my list, right? Because I felt like it could just only get better from there. So the first book that I read in June was Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. Now, in my video, I go in depth on what I liked and what I didn't like about this book. Now, my rating for this book was a 3.75 out of 5 stars. On my Goodreads, it will be listed as a 4 because you can't do percentages on there. You have to give whole stars, whole ratings. But I gave it a 3.75 out of 5. And I did enjoy the story. It just did not pull me in enough to where I wanted to continue the series, okay? And that is a big part of my rating scheme, is if I want to continue wanting to read the series and if I really enjoyed the characters, okay? And for this book, the characters were just not it for me, and that was a big hinder to the story, okay? But that was book number 1. Book number 2 was Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Now, I really, really enjoyed this book, okay? I gave it a 4 stars out of 5. It would have been a 5-star read for me because I absolutely enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the storyline. Everything worked out perfectly. I really went in depth on this one, and you could tell it is one of my favorite reads. Now, I did not give it a 5-star rating because of the writing style. I am used to multiple POV stories. Now, that is on me. That is not on Ali Hazelwood as an author. But what discouraged me a little bit was that in her novel, she had it set up for multiple POVs, but when it came to Eli's perspective or Eli's chapter, it still was written in the third perspective. And that was just throwing me off on how he was feeling and what was happening. I was often getting a little confused during his perspective because he goes by he, and his friend groups are a lot of guys that also go by he's. So I was a little confused on which he they were talking about. Were they talking about Eli, or were they talking about Hark? Were they talking about one of his other friends? So that's kind of what threw me off a little bit. Nevertheless, I really, really enjoyed this book, and I wish I could just go back and reread it again. So for the third and final book I read in June, it was Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy. And if you guys haven't figured it out yet, I've said it multiple times in multiple videos. Elle Kennedy is one of my top favorite authors. Now, I absolutely adored this book. The interesting part about Girl Abroad and this book is that I actually did read it, or I started reading it in February when it came out. And I'm so sad that I stopped reading it, but I just was not in the correct mind space to read it. I was in one of the worst reading slumps I'd ever been in. And yes, this book did pull me in, but it did not pull me in the way that I was hoping it would have. And it just wasn't quick enough to pull me out of a reading slump. Now, that being said, this month I went back and I reread it, and I didn't just pick up from where I left off. I actually went back to page 1 and started it off completely new and completely, like, it's as if it was a blank slate. And I am glad that I did that because, one, I was able to be immersed into the story once again. And two, I do remember the first time I was learning about these characters, I was a little confused at who was who. And reading it a second time, yes, I was still confused, but I was able to match the characters to the descriptions a little bit easier this time around. So that really did help. And I did give Girl Abroad a 5-star. I mean, there's no surprise there. And the reason that I gave Girl Abroad a 5-star was because I was completely immersed in the experience. There were no, in my opinion, there were no loopholes left. There were no inconsistencies left. Everything wrapped up the way it should have. And I can already see the reasoning as to why this book is going to be adapted into a TV series. And I am so thankful and grateful that that's going to happen. So I really hope that that project really does pull through and that they do it justice, because this book just has so much in it that it would have to be done as a TV series. So I'm really excited for that. And I don't know, it was just perfection to me. That's just my quick little summary of Girl Abroad, and that, my rating was a 5-star, and that I loved it, and that I'm so happy that it's going to be adapted into a TV series. And I really did enjoy the characters and the story. Yes, it is a love triangle story, and I do not like those. This was done in a way that made me like it. Okay, and because of that, and because I was correct in the end of which guy she picks, I was happy with the outcome and was able to give it a 5-star. Okay, so it's as if I knew to start with a lesser work and make my way to this, because it just kept getting better and better. And once I was able to get out of my reading slump, it was a lot easier for me to pick up books that I was excited for, and even books that might not necessarily be my style. I just felt more open to it, and I'm really glad that I gave Girl Abroad a chance. And I love the fact that it is a standalone, so I'm not invested in this series. So again, very, very happy with my choice. So overall thoughts about my June TBR is that I am actually really happy with the choices that I made. I'm glad that I kind of went with this like purple lavender scheme for the month. It made it very, what's the word? Like, it kind of gave me like a plan for the month, and like a theme almost. And it really just made me excited to want to pick up these books. So I am really happy that I got to read all of them. Again, I am a little bummed that this one wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be, but I mean, you win some, you lose some. And this year, like I said, I'm trying to be a little bit more intentional with the books that I'm reading. And so these monthly wrap-ups and these monthly TBRs are going to look different every month, in a sense that some might be longer than others and some might be shorter than others. That is just, the way life works. We're going to be super productive some days and not on other days, and we're going to get into reading slumps. And then other times we're going to read so quickly that you don't even have time to formulate any thoughts. But like I said, I'm very happy with my June TBR. Now, going into the second part of this video, A Not So Meet Cute. This is the only book I have on my July TBR. Now, why am I doing that? A Not So Meet Cute is actually a book that I'm really, really excited to read. And I think this cover is just so pretty. It's so cute. It is the discreet cover, because I don't really like people on the cover of books. And the discreet covers just look so much nicer. And in my opinion, the discrete covers are usually picked up by larger publications. So the material is just better. The bendiness of the book is nicer. And it's just a greater overall reading experience, in my opinion. The reason I am only reading one book in the month of July is that I'm actually quite busy. And I did just want to read a book that I'm really excited about. Now, I might pick up other books in the month of July, who knows, but this is what I am sticking to, and this is what I'm committing to for the month of July. Now, what does that mean for the videos that I'm going to be posting in July? I have a lot of book series and a lot of other books that I have read last year that I absolutely love and I have so many thoughts on. So you are going to get more videos of previous books that I've read or even a lot of series. Okay, I've done a lot of single reviews in the last few weeks, but I do have a lot of book series that I'm just itching to discuss. So you're going to see a lot more of those. Okay, so a not so meet cute, what is it about? So just as the title explains, in this book, our FMC and our MMC are going to have a meet cute, and it's not going to be romantic. It's not going to be what you see in the rom-coms or the movies or the TVs or how you imagine, meeting the love of your life. It's probably going to be tragic. It's probably going to be trash. It's probably going to be we hate each other. And essentially, that's kind of what this story is going to be. Now, from my understanding, because I haven't read it, but from my understanding of the synopsis, is that the FMC works with her fiance and she gets fired, or they have a disagreement, they break up, and she's no longer a part of the company and she is not a bride anymore. The MMC, I believe, has lied to a client about his relationship status. Now, I'm not sure where this is going, but I imagine that him not having a stable relationship looks poorly on him as a business person or the ability to do his job correctly. I don't know. Maybe it's about his character. I'm not exactly sure where this is going, but for whatever reason, he lies to his client and tells them that he has a fiance, I believe, like a live-in fiance. He's living with her. And they end up striking up a deal to where she moves in with him and pretends to be his fiance. What does she get in return of this deal? I have no idea. Maybe she gets bragging rights. I don't know. In any case, the guy's a billionaire, as always, as I always gravitate towards those type of novels. But yes, he is a billionaire, and I'm assuming this is kind of, it's like a fake dating situation. And eventually we know it's going to turn real. So I am very excited to read this. This is a trilogy. So I am taking a chance on reading this book. If I like it, then I will seriously consider picking up the next two books in this trilogy. And these follow the Kane brothers. So I'm very interested to see how this is. And this is actually the first book that I've read by Megan Quinn, or will be the first book that I'm reading by Megan Quinn. So that's also another reason why I'm only reading one book this month, is because I'm reading a brand new author, and it takes me a lot of time to get used to new authors and get used to their writing style. However, I have heard a lot of good things about this book, so I am super excited to get that going. Okay, so that is going to be the end of this video. It is just a quick wrap up of my June TBR and then a quick summary of what I plan to read in July. So hopefully I can keep this up and try to do this for a while and try to, continue with the wrap ups and the new TBRs so that it can actually help me get through my physical TBR that I have. Okay. All right, so that is going to be the end of this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys come back for more to see, the new updates. So that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe, share, and then of course comment down below. And please, if there's any recommendations of any books or series that you want me to review, or any questions or topics that you want me to discuss, please feel free to comment that down below. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.